Alright, so it's going to be kind of like a tutorial type deal on how to get kind of these old updates. Basically anything pre-STEAMPIPE. STEAMPIPE, of course, took place about 2013-ish or so. Basically anything before that we can get pretty easily. So the first place you want to go is this, which is the TF2 archive. They've got a server here you can look at if you have literally any questions. I'm sure they'll be pretty okay answering that. You have two options for getting these. You can extract them manually if you want a very specific update, or we can go to the client builds, and there are some updates here, although some of them are broken. You know, like Gold Rush here, which I've been trying to get broken, you know, and a lot of these are broken, sadly, right? So really, though, this is more about how to do this portion of the thing, because this looks kind of daunting, especially if you have no clue what any of this means. And I mean, even reading this, it's a little more, you know, it's above my head, at least first when I saw it. So what do we need to download first of all? You want to download this, which is the extractor. It's going to be in an exe, which is going to be this guy right here. Next up, you're going to want to get the TF2 versions, which is going to be in this little text file. This will be important for a little later. The TF2 beta versions, you know, if you want to look at beta versions too, you can look at this. And you're going to get these game file archive, as well as the game file manifest, the engine file archive, the engine file manifest, and both of these source bases here. And if you want to use the beta versions here, you'd use these. And if you want any sort of localizations, which they have a few of them, or the low violence, or the Linux, or whatever, you can download that there. Again, those are optional. These ones right here are optional, so along with this beta version one. So if we're just trying to get, say, for example, Gold Rush or the War Update, you would want these guys. And just download all of them, make sure they're in the same folder here before we begin. So now that we got this all in the same folder, we can go into PowerShell, just type in PowerShell, and then let's head to this directory. I'm just going to copy paste it in. Just do CD and then wherever you want to go. And before we start extracting the actual files here, I'm going to show you kind of how it works. This large outer box represents the game, and then you have source base, which we downloaded, the engine files, which we downloaded, and TF2 files itself, which again we downloaded. For source base, we're going to need all of these. So 206 and 8, 207 and 4, 208 and 4, 305, and either 0102 if you're before this date, or 3405 after. You're going to need 3060 and 3070. And then these two are optional. They just contain a Linux server if you're into that. You're also going to need the engine files, and this will be unique to each version. And the TF2 files, which again are going to be unique to each version. But if we go to that text we got earlier, it's going to look something like this. I did add a few things like this part, but it's going to tell you exactly what you need. And again, those are those source base that I was talking about a bit. See, you got versions here, and it's got basically every version, and this goes all the way up to 2013 here. But I'm going to find the Gold Rush update, because that's what I wanted to get. Here we go. Let's see, we'll need this for the engine file, and we'll need these three for the TF2, and then this is the early upload. But to start off, let's just get the source base stuff. What you're going to do is just go, and this name here, so example underscore extract underscore buffer, you'll do /, and then example extract buffer .exe. Then you'll type source base. I didn't do that last time, that's why you see this error. 206 and then 8. Press enter, and it's going to start extracting all those. It should put them in the same folder. So in here, that's where it's going to be extracting all those. And you'll just sit here and wait while it extracts. There it goes. And you'll do the next chunk, 207 and 4. Alright, there's that. That one should take a bit longer to go. And we'll do the next one here, 208 and 4. So there's that one. For the 305, I'm not exactly sure if you're supposed to use specific ones. I'm sure someone will correct me there. As far as I'm aware, Gold Rush 2008. So I'm going to use probably 0. So 305 and 0. If this doesn't work, I'll use 1 and then I'll try 2, but definitely not 3, 4, or 5. Alright, so that one is done. We'll do 306 and 0 next. That one was pretty quick. And we'll do 307 and 0. Very, very quick as well. Let's start with just the engines. So the Gold Rush update here will say engine 216 and then 46, so that's unique. You'll notice it goes up here. Sometimes it doesn't change, but then it'll go up, so on and so forth. So it's unique to most versions, I'd say. And it's the same way, although, again, you'll have to do it for each individual update. So we'll do that same command, except we got to change source base to engine 216, and then just double check that it's 46. And that's going to give you the engine files. And that was pretty quick there. And as you guessed, we'd do this again for TF2. So place it with TF2, 441. And here we can use either this early upload, which I'm not going to, or the 41, so 44141. So that one. Again, 442 this time. And Gold Rush has it as 16. So there's 442. And of course, lastly, we'll do 443. Check the version on Gold Rush, and it's 34. And that one's extremely quick. So now we got all the files we need for Gold Rush itself. They're all in separate folders, right? We'll make a new folder. I already have one here, just called Gold Rush, or whatever you want. You're going to have to place everything that you extracted into there. So first up is the source bases. So I'm going to do 206 and 8. So we go 206, 8, and copy these files. Next up we do 207 and 4. Then 208 and 4. And then 305 we did 0, if you remember, so we'll copy that in. And then 306 and 0. 307 and 0. And then we'll grab that engine file that we needed, which was 216.46, and we'll place that in. And then the 3 TF2 files themselves, so 441.41. 442 and 16. And lastly, we got 443 and 34. And there we go. That's everything we need for Gold Rush. Now, I think you would just be able to launch this, but if we try that, it's going to give you this error. So what we can do is go to the PowerShell again and grab our little thing here, hit the AND symbol, and then put quote, put your path /hl2.exe, end the quote, and then go -game tf, and we can try it that way, and it'll launch up. So if you do have Steam open, I would just suggest maybe unplugging your internet or whatever, unless you get a Steam emulator. It might mess with things a little bit. So that's just a warning there. And yeah, can't play online and there's no custom items unless you get a Steam emulator. But this is how it goes, and you can go and go to Gold Rush because it's the Gold Rush update. And here we are in Gold Rush. So it seems to be worked out fine. So yeah, big thanks to the people who put this project together. Just thought I'd make one, since there isn't anything else out there right now.